Hello friends, welcome again, it's Goodkill here. I'll post up the second part of my BlizzCon series of videos, and to be honest with you guys, there's going to be probably a rampant release of videos coming out. So again, sorry to Reddit and people that I'm going to be kind of flooding the Diablo page with videos, but I really got to get this content out fast because I'm already falling behind. Patch 2.4, PTR has been data mined. We're going to get right into testing this week at some point, so I don't want to linger too long on waiting days and days and days to get stuff out because it's going to be impossible. I'm never going to get the information out. So let's get right into the nitty gritty, guys. Last time we talked about BlizzCon and the feel of it, how maybe people reacted to it as Diablo fans to the small mention opening ceremony and just kind of the overall feel of the convention. We're going to get down to the details and the nitty gritty stuff, but this video is just going to primarily focus on just the new features that were added. We'll give you a quick kind of bullet point as to what the new feature is and why I think it's good or bad, but there isn't really bad in this video. The Diablo panel was really, really well done, and just how excited I am for that feature. So first feature that's up here, and I have actually the Diablo fans page about the BlizzCon Day 1 recap up in front of me, so I'm going to be kind of taking bullet points from the page. I'll make sure that I link that below so that you guys can actually read it for yourself, because I'm not going to read out every single word because this video would be an hour and 15 minutes long, and I want to keep it quick so that you guys don't end up sitting for too long at your computer listening to me. So set dungeons. Set dungeons are a new type of area challenging us to each of the 24 different class sets in a unique way. To access it, you'll need to own a full 6-piece class set and then follow clues from a tome in Leoric's Manor, and then find the proper portal to get in. Each set dungeon is tied to one specific 6-set piece from a certain class. They're not random, they're tailored specifically for that set that you are wearing, and then they'll feature challenges such as a challenge to kill monsters without receiving fatal damage, and etc, etc. So why I love this is because Diablo has really created an identity for itself with loot in set bonuses. It's not something that you see a lot in games, and I think they've recognized that we want to be able to acquire sets, and they want us to be able to acquire sets, but not every single set is going to be overpowered or going to be the best for that patch. But at the end of the day, there's some people that are just going to like playing that set that they want to play, and they can't get to this level of challenge that other sets are capable of doing. So for example, we look at this patch. We have Martyrs, we have Shadow's Coil, we have Unhallowed Essence, and Atalius for Demon Hunter. There's 4 different sets that all offer different gameplay. Well, I mean, you could argue that Shadow's Coil doesn't really offer any gameplay right now, but there are 4 different sets, and if you want to play Martyrs, you're pretty much boned this season. Like, you can technically play it, but there isn't a challenge out there that's really tailored for you, because right now all we have are Rifts and Greater Rifts, and you're going to only get to a certain point where you simply can't get any higher because the other sets are so much better. But in this situation, we actually have dungeons tailored for every single one of the sets, so that even if maybe a set isn't more powerful than another set, you can still have a challenge tailored for that exact set. And I'm really looking forward to seeing this kind of thing, because I think this is just an elaboration on the Season 4 journey and the fact that that went over so well, and having to accomplish challenges for your character. And based on some of the pictures you guys can see here, as I scroll down, you can see that there's the Liliana set dungeon there, there's what the portal looks like, and you're going to actually be able to get rewards for your class if you're able to complete every single class set challenge, as well as there being a reward at the end of it down here if you're able to actually complete every single class challenge. So again, also incentive if you're looking for cosmetic rewards to play other classes in order to obtain those cosmetic rewards. So overall, I think this is a great idea. I love the fact that Diablo continues to add variety of gameplay to do, and offers it in a way that it's not about competition and competitiveness. I mean, maybe there will be a timer added to it at some point down the line if people really, really like it. Maybe all the Uliana's monks can race against each other and have a leaderboard for that, and all the waste barbs can have a leaderboard and they can race through that. Maybe that's going to be the case. But at the end of the day, this is more tied to just having fun with your character, having fun with all of the classes, and be able to get a cosmetic reward, which doesn't give you an actual in-game bonus. So, love this feature, and I'm really looking forward to testing it and seeing what some of these challenges are. So, here's some examples that you guys can read down in the link below. Let's talk about the next part, which is the really, really exciting part. I think that everybody's looking forward to is the revamped set. So, with the set dungeons, there have been 10 sets in the game that have been completely reworked, and we already knew that the Shadow's Mantle and Thorns of the Invoker sets were getting reworked, and they're getting a really, really big rework. So because I'm a Demon Hunter, I'm going to wind up clicking on this slide here and focusing just on the Shadows Mantle one. So I'll be able to zoom in for you guys a little bit here. So there you go. So what you can see, it's a 6-piece set now. While equipped with a melee weapon, all damage is increased by 1000%. Your 4 says your shadow power gains the effect of every rune, and it lasts forever, which is an amazing buff. And then it's kind of covered by my overlay there, but the 6 set is Impale, deals an additional 40,000% weapon damage to the first enemy hit. So again, this is a redesigned set, trying to keep up with the sets that currently exist and also offer a different style of gameplay. And I actually had the ability to test this at BlizzCon, and I have to admit the Impale gameplay feels a little clunky, but there's no doubt that the damage is there, and I'm sure once we actually get on the PTR and are able to test out our options with it, this is going to be really, really powerful. And again, it just offers a way for us to be able to actually explore different options of gameplay, and maybe that's going to lead to different party comps and stuff like that. So there's also changes to the Earth set, to the Con set, to the Monkey King's Garb. Pretty much every single class is going to have a different style of gameplay to play with, and this is a huge rework. And it's really, really exciting, again, to see Diablo and the development team really respond to what we ask for, in the sense that we want to be able to have diverse gameplay. And while they've done a little bit better this season, you can argue that every class almost has 1 or 2 builds that they can work with as far as competitive gameplay. It looks like they're still trying to bring all the other sets up to balance with the ones that currently exist and offer a little bit more balance in the sense that, hey, you can find Firebirds, and if you got a great Ancient Firebird set, that's going to do really, really well for you. Now, obviously, we'll have to see how it plays on PTR, but all these changes look really good. I'm not going to do a ton of commentary on each of the specific changes, just because those could probably be separate videos by themselves, and just let you guys read it for yourself and let you get excited. But there is something I want to touch on, which is this one right here, which is the Legacy of Nightmares set, which is the biggest unique set addition to the game so far, and is in response to people who don't like gameplay with sets. Now, it's kind of funny that if you don't like gameplay with sets, you kind of have to obtain a set. There's a little bit of hilarity there, but these reworked rings are going to make it so that while this is your only item set bonus, your damage dealt is increased by 75%, and your damage taken is reduced by 4% for every ancient item you have equipped. So this example here shows those 2 rings equipped, and then there's just a variety of legendary gear. And I'm sure that this is either going to be really, really overpowered or really underpowered, depending on how the initial balancing goes out. But again, the fact that now we actually have the ability to create a gameplay set that isn't wrapped around getting a 6-piece set bonus, or working in Royal Ring, or working in weapon set bonuses, so that you can actually get increased damage just by using legendary weapons. And there are some really, really powerful ones out there that unfortunately don't see gameplay because sets are just so much more powerful. This is a great addition to the game. I'm really looking forward to testing it. I think that's going to allow for a lot of creativity. Just a note that on that, I read out the 75%. The note on the website here says that the 75% has been confirmed to be outdated, so it's probably going to get buffed very, very large. Alright, new items. There's going to be tons of new items added to the game. Here's an example of one of them. Barbarian, 2-handed mighty weapon, Warcry, threatening shout, cause an avalanche and earthquake. We actually saw the visual representation of that. I think you could actually test it. I didn't test Barbarians myself, but it's a cool visual, and again, it allows for another way for you to see that weapon and go, hey, maybe I could do something with that. It looks like, again, way more legendaries, getting way more of these effects, and it's just very refreshing to see that Diablo doesn't feel the need to tie itself down to, oh, well, we can't add anything else that's really crazy because the game's in a pretty good spot now. People are having fun. They're willing to just go completely nuts with the Diablo meta, if you want to call it that. So here's some examples of some new items, some really exciting stuff. As a Demon Hunter myself, I'm really excited about the one-handed dagger here for the Shadow set, which is Impale returns 15 hatred if it hits a target that's already impaled. That sounds like it's going to be absolutely delicious, juicy damage on a Rift Guardian if you could consistently just impale over and over and over and over. And also the one-handed crossbow, which is to reduce the cooldown of your Rain of Vengeance by 50%, which I think is going to be ridiculous for Natalia's, since Natalia's is already very, very ridiculous. We'll go down here to quality of life changes, which I think I've posted videos before on saying what I would like to see out of Diablo, and this was, I think this got the biggest cheer out of anything at BlizzCon, to be honest with you. The ability to have your buff bars condensed down to actually your skill bar here. So again, the talk on the slide was you care about abilities with durations and items with activation conditions and durations, and you don't care about consistency. So for example, you don't need a buff that shows that you have your mantra active. You already know your mantra's active. You don't need that to take up a spot. So a couple examples that were shown here, which is, there you go, you can see that the mantra is activated here with a glowing gold border, and then there's actually, when you activate, a little cooldown bar. So that's going to be able to really freshen up the user interface in a way that you don't really feel the need to use third-party programs for your buff management. And that's pretty much all there is to with that. The last little bit here is damage numbers. Is this power cubed and Death's Breath visibility? So hey, cool. Death's Breath now look very, very unique on the ground. You will now be able to see what items you have cubed and what you haven't cubed, because there's going to be a little tooltip, and damage numbers have been condensed so that you don't have numbers blowing up all over the screen. I'll admit, when I tested this out, it actually felt kind of weird. Like, I didn't really feel that Diablo's numbers had gotten to a point where we needed to see the condensation, but at the same time, if the numbers are going to continue to grow and grow and grow and perhaps get into the, you know, hundreds of billions at one point, then the condensation of numbers is pretty good. Going to be a couple new zones that they showed us. I can't really comment on zones, and you know, I have to test them and see how they look, but they looked really, really cool. Again, they're just additions to Act 1 and Act 5 and Act 3, I believe. There's all these additions. All the environments look great. I've said it before that I think that Diablo is an extremely smooth, polished game with great graphics. I'm just looking forward to being able to get into these zones and really see some of the new mobs and see how they interact, and also try and piece together how they're actually going to function in greater rifts. I do worry that there could be some scaling issues as far as us farming these in the world and then seeing them in a greater rift. We have changes to seasons, so thank goodness there's actually been a date set that seasons are going to be 3 months long. That's awesome to know. I mean, that's pretty much going to mean you're going to be about 3-4 seasons a year, which I actually think is really, really good pacing. They've said that there's going to be a bigger gap between seasons so that everybody can play together. There's not going to be a huge divide between non-season and season, and that they're going to be able to play together for a longer period of time than just maybe like 3 or 4 days, which I think is pretty cool. It just brings the community together for a little period of time before we get back out into the seasonal grind. I'm not really sure how the rebirth works yet. When they actually showed it, it was kind of confusing. I think the premise of it is that if you're really, really attached to a singular character, so for example, if my Demon Hunter this season has played 200 hours, I don't want to delete that character to make space for a new character, I can rebirth that same character so that it's going to start at level 1, and all the gear and everything that was on it is going to be mailed to my non-seasonal, but I can just continue playing on that singular character, which, I mean, to be honest, it's a pretty cool feature for those people who are really attached to the amount of hours they've invested into one character. And I mean, don't quote me on that. I'm 99% confident that's how it works, but there seems to be a lot of confusion out there as to what the feature actually does. I'm 100% confident that you're not simply going to be able to take your fully geared character and just start right away in seasons with it. So we got to find out that Season 4 is going to end in late December, which is great, and that seasons are going to be 3 months long, which I already mentioned. There's going to be a new cosmetic cycle where, when we complete our seasonal journey, we're going to continue to get cosmetic rewards. We're going to be able to get pets, we're going to get wings, we're going to get new portraits, which I think is great. I actually think it takes a little bit from what World of Warcraft's doing right now, which is they're offering skill rewards come down to cosmetics, because you don't want to have somebody complete content that's, you know, higher than you can complete, and then they get an item that just makes them better than you, and you have no chance of catching up. Rewarding cosmetics is a really, really good system. I think especially if they're not going to reward cosmetics through a store, then you have to be able to create a lot of cosmetics to obtain through in-game. There's more changes here, such as the cosmetic rewards changing in seasons. We're starting to drag on the video here. I'm going to try and blow through this as fast as I can. Other changes, more stash space, thank goodness. Yes, that was basically worth the convention for a lot of people. Stash space, amazing. We can get another 5 tabs, and every season that goes on, you're going to be able to get more and more and more tabs. I think they said you can get up to 10 tabs, or maybe I have that wrong. Yeah, I think I have that wrong. Sorry, you're going to be able to have up to 10 tabs at maximum. There's going to be a new Cat Eyes Cube recipe, which I think we're going to talk about in a later video because we're probably going to be able to test that today. It's regarding legendary gems. It's going to offer a lot of replayability. Basically, you can use a legendary gem to augment onto your item. For example, an ancient weapon. You can use your level 60 gem and you can augment that onto your weapon, and it's going to give you +5 of your primary stat for how high you've leveled the gem, which is really, really cool because it's going to keep you leveling your legendary gems. And you're also going to be left with the decision of, oh crap, I've got this legendary gem at level 74. It's going to offer me a huge primary stat boost, but I'm also going to lose that level 74 legendary gem. So it offers kind of a conflict there. They've changed experience now, so the big one for me that I like to see with this is that they're changing experience so that you can still get good experience playing by yourself and be able to clear the content just as efficiently as you would in a 4-player group. And I'm very curious to see how this plays out in the PTR, because you don't want to be in a spot where if I play solo and I can do the content just as fast as people that are playing 4-player and I also get the same rewards, then why would I ever want to group with people? They have to be careful how they kind of tinker with this, because you don't want to have a game where everybody just knows it's better to play by yourself than it is to play with people. I don't think it's going to work out like that, but as you can see, there's a pretty significant drop. This is what it is now. This is what it's going to be on the PTR. It's a pretty significant drop for solo as far as monster health is concerned. Then 2-player and 3-player see slightly reduced drops as well. Empowered rifts. How to touch on this is basically you can use your gold now to empower a greater rift. And if you complete that Empowered Greater Rift, which has no change to what the actual level is. So, for example, an Empowered Greater Rift 60 is no different than a Greater Rift 60 as far as difficulty, mob health, mob damage, all that stuff. It just simply means that if you complete it in time, you get an extra roll on your gem, which we've already described that gems are going to be more important going forward. Maybe you want that extra reroll and a chance to get that higher rank to augment, or you want that extra rank roll just to save you time from running Greater Rifts. But the higher and higher you get, the more gold it's going to cost. So, hey guys, gold has some value. That's awesome to see. I'm really looking forward to it. And then here's just some pictures about how everything looked. I mean, the Diablo stage itself, as you can kind of see here, we were relegated. Our main panel was not on the main stage. It was actually on a side stage here. So, but you can see all the people lined up. They're very excited. The crowd was very into all the changes that were being made. I mean, it honestly feels that 2.5 is, it's not going to be a new game, but it's going to feel completely unique and different from its previous patches. That's what I love to see about Reaper of Souls and how it's evolving, is that every single patch that's come out and support for this game completely changes the game, and it only changes it in a positive way because they take our feedback. So if there's something that I learned at BlizzCon and from this panel, it was that please give your feedback. If something's not working, then please just get it out there. Your words will be heard. This team really, really listens to you a lot, and I really, really appreciated that. And I hope that you guys enjoyed listening. Just kind of my thoughts. I mean, I don't think I had a negative thing to say. It was really, really positive. It was a lot of good changes, a lot of things to be really excited about, and I really can't wait to sink my teeth into the PTR. Next video, I'm going to talk pretty much exclusively about Demon Hunters, about their new items that are coming to the game, about how I felt the Shadows Coil set played out, because I got to play a little bit Diablo. But again, thanks guys for listening, and like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks guys.